Ava Max, it is so incredible seeing you again. Welcome to America's Dance 30 for the first time.
Thank you. Hi, guys.
Congratulations on Forever Young with David Guetta and Alphaville going #1.
Wow. Thank you. I actually didn't know that was happening, so I'm just really excited.
Well, I'm glad I could be the one to break the news to you.
Thank you.
Now, this is your second #1 on the dance charts, right? Because the motto with Tiesto went #1 as well, right?
Yes. I love the motto. I feel so blessed to be a part of that record as well. Tiesto was awesome during that time. And when it went #1, also shocked, because you never know. We put out this music for the fans, and when it goes like #1 is a big deal, so it doesn't happen all the time. So I feel very grateful.
Well, congratulations on that as well. Can't wait to talk about how Forever Young came together with you, David Guetta and Alphaville. But first, let's get to know Ava Max a little better with Finky's Firsts.
Okay.
So I always love finding out the origin story of artists. I know that your parents are incredibly talented musicians as well. And then you got into musical competitions at a young age, right?
Yeah. So when I was 8 years old, I did my first singing competition. I grew up in Virginia. And so we went like up and down the East Coast, wherever there was Disney competitions. There was radio Disney competitions. There was other talent rock competitions in Florida. So my parents would drive me around in their Suburban. I would sleep in the back while they were driving because it was a long drive. And then I'd go perform, and I'd win some of these. So it was really fun.
That's so incredible. Now, was there anything else that you first wanted to get into when you were growing up, or was music always it?
Music was always it. I feel like since I could open my mouth to talk, I started singing.
Thinking back to those competitions that you were doing at such a young age, do you remember the first time performing on stage?
Yes. I sang Don't Know Why by Norah Jones and Fallen by Alicia Keys, a cappella.
Holy crap! Go for the easy ones, I see.
I just loved soulful music. I sang a lot of R&B growing up, pop R&B and soulful jazz. So like that was all I knew growing up until the Britney Spears album came out, Hit Me Baby One More Time. And then I fell in love with pop music.
And were you nervous performing for the first time, or have you always been comfortable?
I always tell my parents this because this is so funny, because they have video of me just like really not caring and not being nervous. And I tell them as I got older, I got more nervous because 8-year-old me, that footage, which is still not out yet, like you're going to see when I put it out, like I was not nervous. I did whatever on stage. Like I didn't have any fear. And I think as I got older, I got a little bit more fearful when I got more like aware of everything in my surroundings, but I really didn't care.
Doesn't that suck that as we get older, our anxiety gets worse?
I know. I'm like, I didn't have anxiety at 8, 9, or 10, and I just like didn't care. I did it for the love of it, and it was easy. Now our brains are like, wait, people are staring and they're judging, and it's everything that you drive you crazy.
Yeah, adulting is such a trap.
It is. I would want to be a kid forever now.
Absolutely. Speaking of forever young, now you've been Ava Max since 22, right?
22, exactly.
But when you were thinking of an artist project name, was Ava Max your first choice, or were there other names you were considering?
I was going to be just Ava, and I remember talking to friends and people I worked with, and they were just like, maybe you should add a last name because you might get confused with other Avas. And I'm like, okay. So they kind of convinced me to put a last name, but I'm happy I did, because Max is like my masculine and Ava's my feminine, because I feel like I'm a little masculine and feminine. Like all my friends say I'm like a dude. Like I'm really, I operate like a dude. So it makes a lot of sense putting Max into it.
Well, it's such an iconic name, so good choice.
Thank you. It was meant to be.
It definitely was. Now, as I mentioned, you've had #1s on the dance charts, but you've also had incredible success on the pop charts as well. Do you remember the first time hearing one of your songs on the radio?
Yes, it was. I remember this. I was in a bus sprinter situation in Sweden. It was my first time in Europe ever during Stupid Psycho, going big there, and having my first number one. And I had never been to Europe, never been in a big sprinter bus, and we were with everybody going to like a promo radio station where I was going to perform acoustically on guitar Stupid Psycho for the first time. So we were in the car or in the sprinter, and Stupid Psycho comes on the radio. I don't know if it was imposter syndrome or something. Like I was like, this is not me. This is not me. And I was kind of like in denial for like a good week of being in Sweden doing promo that week. And then I'm like, whoa, this is real. I'm on the radio all over the world. And it blew my mind because obviously you want it your whole life. And then it happens. And it doesn't feel real.
That's so awesome. I mean, it doesn't. I'm on the radio every day, and it still doesn't get old hearing myself on the radio. So I completely get it. Now, as I mentioned, you had a number one with Tiesto. You've now got a number one with David Guetta. Do you remember the first dance song that made you fall in love with EDM?
Ooh, Avicii. When I'm wiser, when I'm older.
Wake Me Up.
Wake Me Up, Avicii changed my life.
That is so incredible to hear. And I forget what artist I was talking to a couple of weeks ago that it was the same thing. What's so incredible about that is there was so much backlash with Avicii when he first released it. And then it's become one of the biggest, most iconic songs ever.
Yeah, I still get goosebumps even thinking about listening to that record. It's such an emotional record, and the dance aspect of it. I mean, the two worlds coming together, it's so hard to do that. And he just nailed it, and now it's just a classic.
Well, finally in Finky's first, in honor of Forever Young going number one, what would be your first advice to give to a younger Ava Max?
You know, everyone's timing is different. I was always trying to rush it. You can never rush it. And my favorite quote now is, the pear will fall when it's ripe. So you just keep working and working towards your goals, bettering yourself, because we're always evolving. And you know, we're never going to not evolve until the day we die. So I think just know that there isn't an end. It's always a journey. And I wish I knew that when I was younger, because I would always drive myself crazy.
Same. And you definitely went through it growing up. I mean, it's amazing that you are still doing it, which thank you for sticking with it.
Thank you. Thank you. It was hard because, you know, you get a lot of no's, and it obviously getting no's and shut down a lot. You get down, but as long as you get back up, no one remembers your losses. They remember your wins. So.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on this number one. Let's talk about this incredible interpolation. How did it come together with you, David Guetta, and Alphaville?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so a friend of mine showed me the record. He's a close friend of mine, and he was like, "We want you on the record. Like Guetta wants you on the record, Alphaville. Everybody wants you on the record." So I start singing it, and I started like messing around with melody and lyrics in the studio. And I started just falling in love with the record. And within an hour of working, just 1 hour of working on it, we shared it while I was still in the studio. And Guetta was just like, this is it. This is what we're doing. And it went back to my friend, and he told me what Guetta said at the time. And I know Guetta because we had a song together before Stupid Psycho, right before Stupid Psycho came out, Let It Be Me. So I knew, you know, him, and he was a friend for a while. So when this record came to me, I was just really excited to do another Guetta record. And again, you never know how big records are going to be. You just hear it and you're just like, I'm in love with this. I want to share it with the fans. And that's what we did.
Now, is it nerve-wracking taking on such an iconic song like Forever Young?
Oh, 1,000%. I'm like, wait, I need to sound extra good on this.
Well, congratulations. You absolutely killed it on there.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
By the way, I wanted to say thank you so much for writing Who's Laughing Now and bringing attention to bullying, because I know you were bullied in middle school. I was horribly bullied in junior high and high school. Honestly, it's amazing that I made it out alive. So
yeah, same here. Middle school and high school were horrible for me. I went in and out of different middle schools and high schools, and I was the one who got expelled at the time because I was standing up for myself in middle school, and it was just like, it's never fun. And I think, you know, it's interesting because this next album, that's crazy you touched on this. I was just speaking to somebody about my next album, just being about that and people who are being bullied. And it's for people who are being bullied all around the world. And you can be bullied in your workplace, you know, and anywhere. And it's not okay. And I think we just have to tell people, like, it doesn't matter what people say to you because you know who you are. And I think that's the message.
And that's so hard to get into our stupid little heads.
Especially when we're kids. I was devastated. I was crying every day after school. So it's a tough one.
But just like you, I read that you were actually somewhat happy that it happened looking back now. Same for me. I mean, looking back now, it made me who I am now. So I'm so thankful that it happened.
Oh, yeah, it makes us stronger, for sure.
Well, let's talk about the album and what can your fans expect in 2025?
I'm so excited. I'm releasing now my first single. I can't say the name. I almost did. I almost did. But LYF, as I put it in my caption. And it's coming out in February. I'm so excited. I was going to start the third album last year, and it almost happened, but I had a lot of personal things happen as well in tandem, and I was really like in a bad place last year that I'm going to talk about on this album and in the future. But I'm very excited. I'm finally starting the third album era.
Awesome. Can't wait to hear the album. Well, I got the amazing opportunity to see you perform. We had you at Jingle Ball in town a few years ago, and you were incredible. So thank you so much for your time with us on America's Dance 30.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.